Rise and Shine Rwanda, it's Wednesday the 10th of June.
Coming up on today's Rise and Shine Rwanda.
One of the world's biggest tech gurus is in Rwanda to push philanthropy to the next level.
Sevens take a bowl ahead of Genocide Memorial Tournament.
And another tasty recipe of a Rwandan favorite for you to try at home tonight.
Good morning, it's just after 7 o'clock in the morning and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Makeda Mahario. Over the next hour, we'll be bringing you all the latest news, sports, and lifestyle headlines from here in Rwanda and around the world. And of course, the Rise and Shine team are here with us in studio, all in the form of Arnold Quizera. Fidelis, we miss you, but I want to know what's happening in the world of sports.
We look at the upcoming Genocide Memorial Sevens tournament. We had a little bit of NBA action earlier.
Right.
We may dive into that with Regis and
Not
Coach
with me?
No.
I want to dive into the NBA. Okay, all right.
Next time. And then Coach McKinstry, his complaints, no medical care for the national team, despite him scoring a lot of goals in Kenya.
Great.
The latest from the Rwandan Cup ahead of the Mozambique game next week.
Absolutely.
All right, well, all that and much more is still to come, but first, Rise and Shine, story of the day.
With success comes responsibilities and the need to impact society. Alexandre Mars, a man who helped revolutionize the tech world, is here in Rwanda to see how through philanthropy he can help the country's rise and affect the youth's well-being. Take a look.
Can you build a deeper interaction between the consumer and the magazine? And I see, and I think that AR can help this. That's different startups in this industry, but it's the best way to just give more information and more interaction to the readers. And the last one,
He's had a hand in basically everything that has worked in the tech world for the past 15 years. Alexandre Mars is what you can call a serial entrepreneur.
bring some more creativity to the brands.
He has successfully launched and sold several companies in Europe and the United States. We're talking venture capital, the internet, mobile marketing, social media and advertising, and much, much more. One of his two latest startups, Fun Valley, just happens to be the world's largest mobile agency. Epic Foundation, the company he founded last year to fight inequalities and support the youth well-being, is doing all it can to bridge the gap between individual and corporate donors and organizations supporting children and the youth globally.
We are just arriving at a peak of a very steep mountain that our elders had to climb, and now there are only two possible things that could happen.
He's here in Rwanda to see how he can empower the country's youth and make sure organizations have the resources, technology, and networks they need to do so.
We're trying to define what could be the ad format for this. Because we think it's really important, but we're still clueless about the answers.
This year, Alexandre Mars was named one of New York's top 20 philanthropists under 40 by the New York Observer. The accolades have been plenty, but he hopes the impact is most felt all over the world for doing the right thing. Regis Isheja, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
Talking about the future, but mobile first.
And joining us in studio now is Alexandre Mars, founder and CEO of Epic Foundation. Welcome to the show.
You're welcome, Regis.
All right, so I know we could do this in French, we could do this in English. We'll try to reach as many as possible, so let's do it in English. Number one, when you've accomplished as much as you've accomplished in life, I mean, you've accomplished a lot very young. We can talk about Fun Valley, we can talk about basically all the companies that you've helped build from the ground up and become giant in the tech world. What was the inspiration behind working that hard that early in your life?
I think it's very interesting. When I was 17, that's more because of my mom, or thanks to my mom, I realized that if you really want to change or have an impact on anything you can do, it's better to have money. So when I was 17, I said to myself, let's build something, and if I'm successful enough, I will be able to use this money, and I will be able to shape the world differently. That's why I started building my first startup when I was 17, and now I'm a bit older, and I've started other businesses and was able to sell those businesses.
Now, I've been watching all the advices and all your commentary on BFM TV. While doing my research, something really stuck out. It's the fact that to you, it's very important to help those between 0 and 24. And to you, that can only be done through philanthropy, but it's not just giving them something. It's more like the Chinese saying that goes, don't give me a fish, teach me how to actually get the fish. So what was so important for you to make sure that those between 0 and 24 are taken care of?
I think it's the next generation. So we need to take care of those kids wherever they are, and that's also very important. We are here in Rwanda because we believe we can help, and so many kids here can be helped also. But it's also giving, as you said, some great lessons. I was just before in one of your great university here talking about entrepreneurship, and the good thing is now this new generation, this younger generation, they love and they want to become entrepreneurs. They want to become social entrepreneurs. That's how we can help them to become who they want to become. That's what we're trying to achieve at Epic Foundation. And for sure, with my background, I was very lucky. I was lucky to be just 17 or 18 during the internet bubble. I was lucky to be born in Paris, to have been raised between Europe and the US. So that's what I'm trying now to give back, is everything I've built, just in terms of skills, in terms of resources, in terms of network. How can we just also help others wherever they are, because we need to help others.
Like you just said, you got to speak to students at a university prior to coming here. What was the reaction like? What did you get from them? And is it positive to the point where you want to come back and help and invest some more?
So the short answer is yes. It was ultra positive, spending time with those students. But after, it's interesting the questions you have and why you've done this, and how do you think I should sell if I'm able to sell my startup? Right. Do you think we should wait? Why have you sold it? So many startups so young. So it's always interesting to get feedback from people. Before starting any of my startups, I started with the market research, and that's what I explained to those students. And before running something, please go meet other people, trying to understand how successful you can be, but you cannot just start from zero and be successful. You need to start and ask questions. And more important is, maybe you will fail, and that's okay. That's okay.
Failing is okay.
Sure, and that's a different culture. It's hard here in Rwanda. It's the same in Europe. It's way easier in the US. Failing in the US, that's okay. That's we'll launch something else.
A lot of opportunities.
And again, if before running, you need to start just walking and even crawling. That's why we are. It's very hard to be just successful in a year. So you need time, but you need to do stuff. That's why we are. As entrepreneurs, we are doers. We like doing stuff.
Right. Now, to the young generation, to the entrepreneurs of tomorrow that are actually watching the show right now, what would be your advice as someone who has built companies, but also sold them after you built them to make more and then move on to other things? What would be the advice you would give to them?
I think just it's go and do. That's very important. First, do your market research. 2, you launch. Whatever, and don't try to find something that no one else has found before. Usually, it doesn't work like this.
It backfires.
It's sure. So you can try, you replicate something, you cut and paste. That's fine. But do and don't stop and don't give up. That's very important because most of the time it won't succeed and you won't be successful day one. It will take time to do so. And even more than this is about just entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship. The good thing now with this new generation we're talking about, Regis, this new generation, they want to have something they want to build something around social.
Right.
And it's very important to them how we can build them, and that's very what we do at Epic Foundation, we're trying to really just drive this movement, trying to say, guys, it's great to be an entrepreneur, but being a tech entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur, is barely, you need the same qualities. And that's why we're trying to also to push people. And the difference between this generation versus the generation 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, that they want to do this. They want to give something back to the country. And this here is so important here. Going to the culture, right. You have so many young, clever students. They want to give something back to this wonderful country that is just now Rwanda.
Now, Alexandre Marx, the philanthropy culture, to those who are well off here, who are doing okay when it comes to their financial situation, how can they get involved? How can they help? What would be your advice to them?
So it's interesting. First thing, they never give enough. So that's very important. When I started for Epic Foundation, I spent a lot of time with wealthy people, right. Great people, big heart, and I was always asking them, are you giving? Always, yes, we are giving. Do you think you are giving enough? And all the time, the answer was no. We know we are not giving enough, but it's hard for us to give more, even if we want to, because we don't trust organizations, we don't have time, and we don't have the knowledge. So that's what we are bringing at Epic Foundation. We are bringing tools for this new generation of donors to give more, and everything we do is free. So
we're like a bridge, basically, between the donors, the individual ones, and the organizations,
exactly.
And then the kids they're trying
Exactly. We're trying to build this bridge between amazing social organizations, and some. There are so many great organizations here in this country, like in other countries, and good people
right.
who want to invest more time, skills, resources, network. The goal is, how can we build right. those bridges? And what we're doing is free. So we're not charging anyone. So it's way easier. So people can see that we're doing this, not because we want to make more money, but we want only to have less inequalities in Rwanda, in Uganda, in Brazil, in India, in all the different countries where we are working, because so many good things are happening. We need to show this, and thank you for asking me today, because it's very important to show the world that people care. And I'm a French guy living in the US, but right. I care about Rwanda. I care about kids all around the world, wherever they are. And that's important because we can do more, and we are doing more, because we do have the solution.
Absolutely. It's very appreciated. You found a home here. You can come back anytime.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alexandre Marx. You're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. We'll be right back after the break.
Here is to traveling and saving. Starting 1st of April to the 1st of June, travel with Rwanda and take advantage of our reduced fares and enjoy our world-class services in great comfort and safety.
Fly our dream to the heart of Africa.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Time now for business news. I guess Makeda has the story.
I have the details. Business stories making headlines today. Rwanda's tea export earnings saw an increase of over $29 million in the first week of June, up from last month's $28.7 million. A report from the National Agriculture Export Board attributed the rise to increased productivity and good quality of the country's tea leaves. Recently, NAEB unveiled a new strategy to increase exports at an average annual growth rate of 24% for annual tea export receipts to increase to a tune of $94.9 million by 2018. Officials said they are focusing on quality and value addition to ensure the sector stays profitable. The Rwandan franc saw a 0.1 depreciation against the US dollar in the month of May. The central bank said the local currency and other regional currencies were volatile last month because of the greenback's continued appreciation against major international currencies. The bank also attributed the franc's reduction to its weekly market intervention of selling US dollars to commercial banks, which in turn sell to forex bureaus across the country. And China reportedly expressed readiness in supporting the proposed East African Standard Gauge Railway. This comes after the heads of state of the Northern Corridor met in Kampala, Uganda last week to discuss the progress of the various integration projects of the region. Officials said the Chinese government gave positive feedback and asked for more details to finalize feasibility studies for further discussion. The gauge, which will connect Rwanda and Uganda to the Kenyan port of Mombasa, has an estimated budget of $14 billion. You're up to date with today's business headlines. Sports news is coming up in just a minute with Arnold Quizera.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Time now for your sports news. Arnold Quizera. Starting with football, coach John McKinstry is set to name an attack-minded lineup for Amavubi's African Cup of Nations qualifier tie against Mozambique next week. Rwanda senior men's national team boasts a poor away record, but the fixture is seen as the Wasps' best chance of securing away points in a group that has Mauritius and African giants Ghana. Meanwhile, striker Mehdi Kagere will not be called up until his citizenship status is solved, according to the Irishman. Moving on to rugby, this year's playoffs contenders have been confirmed in the 2015 Super Rugby season, with all that is remaining is how they will end. South Africa will be represented by the Stormers, currently in third place on the log standings, while Australia will have defending champions Waratahs and 2013 finalists Brumbies as their flag bearers. New Zealand has 3 teams in the top 6, thus being represented by 2-time champions, the Chiefs, Highlanders, and table-topping Hurricanes. Still with rugby, Rwanda's rugby seems to be growing leap by leap, and having concluded the 15th season, attention has been turned to the 7th side of the game. You take a look. With Rwanda set to host the first international Kwibuka 7th circuit this coming weekend, clubs turned their attention to the shorter version of the game with the Shark Sevens tournament as a dress rehearsal. With the 15th season now already done, attention turns to the 7th circuit, which was organized by Sharks Rugby Football Club. Buffalo's Rugby Football Club walked away with the owners in a one-sided affair against 1,000 Hills Rugby Football Club. Cheered on by a relentless crowd, 1,000 Hills have been the find of the 2015 rugby calendar, and the Gatenga-based outfit did not seem to falter, shocking the defending champions Leon Defay with a 19-12 win in the semi-finals. 15th champions Buffaloes had earlier emerged victors over tournament hosts Sharks in comfortable fashion. The year's first Sevens final was a rematch of the 15th fixture, but did not live up to expectations, as the vast experience of the Buffaloes outfit showed.
Ubundi nka Buffalo ubundi twebwe Sevens niwo mukino wacu akenshi kurusha ko twakina 15 neza, akenshi dukina 7 kurusha ko twakina 15 neza. Ngire ngo ugiye kureba ukareba ikipe twakinishije uyu munsi, ubonye ko abakinnyi bacu benshi barimo bakuru bose batakinnye, twaje gukinishira abana batoya. Umukinnyi urimo mukuru afite imyaka 25, so niyo mpamvu urebye ko no kugera kuri finale tugiye tunaruha cyane n'imbaraga nyinshi twakoresheje.
1,000 Hills coach Mugabo Juma took optimism from his side, showing, though promising, an improved performance.
I think we have to improve is the confidence of players in terms of decision making, because most of them are good passers, good runners, but when it comes to decide what to do and when to do it, that's when there is a bit of difficulties. So I think as a coach, what we'll be working on is mostly the decision making, and show them how sevens is played, so they try to use the whole space instead of just cutting from inside. So as you saw the final game, they got it when it was already too late, so they got into the game in the second half. That's when they tried to use spaces and support each other, when they didn't do it in the first half. So as a coach, I think we will emphasize on decision making, try to use the whole space and play with support play.
This weekend, attention turns to the Genocide Memorial Tournament that is set to attract teams from Burundi, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Uganda. Arnold Kwizera, Rise and Shine, Rwanda.
So, Arnold, the rugby scene is growing, contrary to other sports in Rwanda. Would you say that?
Not really, but the standards are going up. It's not contrary to other sports. Other sports disciplines are also, I think, some are improving. You know, it's an up and, it's an up and down thing with different disciplines here in Rwanda. But the rugby, as you saw from the 15th tournament, has ended, and now attention has turned to the 7th circuit. There's a big 7th tournament coming up over the weekend. The Genocide Memorial is going to have teams from the DRC, teams from Burundi. The national team of Burundi is going to take place despite their wars. And then there's going to be a select side from Kampala, which of course are going to be the favorites for the tournament. You feel sevens is more of the sport the Rwandan Rugby Federation should focus on. Unfortunately, the president has been dodging my calls in and out to come and appear on Rise and Shine. But there hasn't, when you look at, there's some questions we should be asking them. Why is it that a tournament as big as the first 7th circuit of the season is organized by an individual club? You know, the 15th tournament, at the end of it, did have a trophy for the winners in Buffalo's Rugby Club. hardly any medals, and this is going to demoralize the kids. Now, these kids go out to train themselves in the first place. The coach of Thousand Hills Rugby, who's also acting as the CEO of the National Rugby Federation, Rwanda Rugby Federation, RRF, Juma Mugabo, who we had in the interview, trying to put a few of these disciplines into the children, into these kids. Thousand Hills is a very youthful outfit, and this comes from a collection of individual people within the rugby circles and these kids loving the sport. When you look at people who have tried to help the federation, when you look at the people who are at the tournament, who some of we had in the footage there, the people who come from a structure known as the Friends of Rwandan Rugby, they're trying to develop the game. They have collected money to build a stadium, but then the federation president is too busy to follow up on any of these things. And that's, if I would use an example of the Cricket Federation, because cricket and rugby were at the same level a few years back in Rwanda. And through these two charities, Friends of Rwandan Rugby and Friends of Rwandan Cricket, they are British charities, they wanted to develop these two sports simultaneously. Right. And that's something, and that's how it has been done in other Commonwealth countries. You know, when you look at Kenya, Uganda, those two sports develop at the same pace because the lovers of the sports tend to be the same people. So the money is collected from the same neighborhoods. But then Rwandan Rugby has taken steps back, you know, and that comes from its unseriousness. They elected a new president this year in Alex Araire, but even him,
he's not answering your call.
He's not answering.
Let's move on to Super Rugby, the playoffs. Now we know which teams are going to be facing which ones. What are you excited? What series excites you the most?
I think we are going to first go into the last round of the regular season, which is coming this weekend. But the Stormers will have to pray that the Brumbies can lose, the two Australian teams can lose, that's the Brumbies and the Waratahs, so that they can get that second place position. Otherwise, they will have to play one of those, they will have to play a semi-final away from home. Now, when you look at the favourites, the Hurricanes are coming into the favourites, but a team which so many should try to avoid going into the playoffs are the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 2 times champions. Last year, they were knocked out at the semi-final stage. They had won it 2 years previous to that. They have no Aaron Cruden, who is a big factor for their season at that playmaking position at the halfback. But then they have the return of Sonny Bill Williams. Now, Sonny Bill Williams at number 12 is a threat. He's one of the best 12s in the world, but what he brings to this Chiefs outfit, then they will have the return of Andre Pulu at halfback. Even the Hurricanes, when you see the return of Buden Barrett and TJ Perenara at that halfback combination 9 and 10, for them it will be a very key factor going into the remaining fixtures. Waratahs, Israel Folau seems to have picked up form at the right time of the season, scoring that hat-trick of tries against the Cheetahs last weekend. But then again, this is the Cheetahs. Right. you can't go on and score 4 tries against the Cheetahs and fail to make any tries up against the Stormers, who have the best defense in the Super Rugby.
Now, Arnold, let's move on to football. I mean, next week, Rwanda, Mozambique, a lot of people cannot wait for that game, but now we just learned that striker Medi Kagere won't be part of the team, still some citizenship issues to be settled. How do you see Rwanda perform next week?
One, let me start with the Medi Kagere issue. It's absurd that Medi Kagere can be part of the national team. He has played 26 times for Rwanda previously. Now, the issue was a naturalized citizenship, but he is married to a Rwandan wife, and that entitles him to citizenship, having lived in this country for more than 6 years. This is a man who was here at the formation of Atraco. Yeah? He played for Police, he played for Rayon Sports prior to his moving to Kenya's biggest team at the moment, which is Gor Mahia, where he played half a season and scored 9 goals in 12 matches. Now, if you can't have a striker of that caliber, if you can't fight to get the citizenship of the striker of that caliber, then something is wrong with the federation. Yeah, that's. I got a chance to talk to Medi Kagere himself. Medi Kagere said he has tried. All he needs is the federation to help him out, to sort out his citizenship. And that's the work of the federation president. Now, if the federation president is asking you as an immigration officer, asking you, have you done this, have you done that? It's the federation president's role to go and sort out this issue. You could feel it from Coach John McKinstry's voice and his tone that he was disappointed this was an issue that wasn't resolved, because Rwanda needs Medi Kagere more than Medi Kagere needs the Rwanda national team. Right. Come on, this guy has a 15 million francs contract in Gor Mahia, he doesn't need the money from the Rwandan Federation. All he needs is to come and represent the country. Don't forget, he's the man who scored the goal against the second goal against Congo Brazzaville, despite Daddy Birori's earlier goal.
Right.
But we are not scoring goals. That's our biggest problem. Now, you will say the likes of Tuisenje, the Police FC playmaker, he has come into the squad. He can play as a half-9. He is a good player. But we need Mehdi Kajere if we are to qualify for the African Cup of Nations.
All right, Arnold, thank you very much. Very passionate today. I like the fire.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. You're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. We'll be right back with the news on Rise and Shine Rwanda. Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's take a look now at news making headlines here in Rwanda and around the world.
Member of Parliament Kani Bwiza Sekamana has resigned from office. Sekamana, who served in office for 15 years in different capacities, cited personal reasons for her resignation. Deputy Speaker of Parliament in charge of administration, Abbas Mukama, confirmed the move and said that the next step was to find her replacement. Bwiza is also a member of the Rwanda Patriotic Front.
The United Nations agency have called for more relief for Burundian refugees in the country. UNHCR, along with other non-governmental organizations, have appealed to the international community and member states to put in more effort in mobilizing the influx of Burundian refugees in Rwanda specifically. More than 30,000 Burundian refugees have crossed into Rwanda since late March, with their majority being transferred to Mahama refugee camp in Kirehe district. Officials also commended the government support in handling the crisis and urged the international community to assist in funding the Burundi Refugee Response Plan for Rwanda, RRP.
And in regional news, East Africa's biggest supermarket chain has withdrawn Nestle's Maggi noodle brand from its shops in 5 countries over concerns of food safety. Nakumat says the noodles have been banned in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and South Sudan after demands from a Kenyan consumer group. The group was reacting to a partial ban in India, where regulators describe the product as unsafe and hazardous. Nestle has maintained that the noodles are completely safe. Kenya's Bureau of Standards issued a verbal recall for the noodles, which led supermarkets to voluntarily withdraw the product.
And Nigeria's military said it has begun moving its headquarters to the northern town of Maiduguri, close to the center of the Boko Haram Islamist insurgency. In a statement released earlier this week, the move is to, quote, add force and renewed vigor to the fight against terrorism, end quote. A military advance team began work in Maiduguri on Monday as part of plans to move the command and control center from Abuja. During his inaugural speech, President Muhammad Buhari vowed to beat the group's insurgency, which was founded in Maiduguri more than 10 years ago and has carried out several attacks there.
Okay, lots more still to come. Lifestyle is up next. Plus, we take a look at what's hot right now in our daily debate section. Hot topics. We'll be right back.
Here is to traveling and saving. Starting 1st of April to the 1st of June, travel with Rwanda and take advantage of our reduced fares and enjoy our world-class services in great comfort and safety.
Fly our dream to the heart of Africa.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda Lifestyle now. Makeda, what do you have for us?
I have a really nice recipe for anyone to do at home, and you can even try it tonight.
You keep doing this too.
Oh, yeah. Pilau, also known as pilaf, is said to have originated in the Middle East and is known here in Rwanda to be enjoyed mostly by the Muslim community. It's said that the best pilau can be found in certain spots of Nyamirambo, but I see no reason why you can't make this delicious and filling meal right from your very own home. I asked caterer and pilau specialist Mamu to take us through it. Take a look. This is easily one of Rwanda's favorite types of food, and I'm here with an expert. Now, Mamu, you used to have a restaurant in making different things, but you said pilau was your specialty, right? And now you're doing catering. So you're going to show us a good recipe today, right?
Yeah, I'm going to show you how I prepare the best pilau for my clients.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that, and so are you, trust me.
Welcome, I'm sure you're going to like it.
You can do a different type of pilau, but add anything you want. Today I'm going to use maggi, pears, rice, black pepper, pilau masala, onions, red and white, I mix them, garlic, tomato paste, chicken, carrots, green pepper, and salt, and some oil.
I'm going to add onions, white onions, carrots, and green pepper. Something that I learned when I was very young from my mom. At home, when you see your mom cooking, they always sit around and watch what they are doing, your aunties. And pilau, it was this food that you like to cook when you have special events, like when you have holy special events like Eid, like when you have special guests. So it is something that I was very much interested to learn how to do it. And yeah, I did. So what makes different from normal rice and pilau, we add this pilau masala. Pilau masala is something, it's different kind of things which are mixed in here. So after adding everything, I put some water without forgetting my pears.
Then I put my rice. This is basmati rice. You don't need to wash. It's always clean and softy. But when you are using another type of rice, you have to wash your rice first. I'm using my basmati. Okay, now our pilau is ready to eat.
See, now It's gonna be hard to get through the day, man. Why do you keep doing this? I might just go get some, like, for lunch.
Well, the good thing is that now you know how to just make it at home if you want to.
Unbelievable.
You know, I always heard about pilau, and believe it or not, I don't think I've even eaten it before.
Do not tell me you've never had it.
I know, it's crazy. So, but I always hear about it. Everyone tells me about it. Everyone tells me this is the best spot or that's the best spot. I've heard about Mamu being the best so many different times. So I decided I had to go and find out how you make it and see if it's possible to be made at home. And you can see she's making it in her home. She makes the best kind. That's why she gets so many different people coming to her.
Right.
But you could see, like, if you were really determined, you can make it at home too. It's not hard at all.
Now, from the recipe, do you feel like this is because you did another thing on healthy eating not too long ago?
Yeah.
Do you feel like this will be healthy?
I don't see why not. I mean, the thing is, it's a little bit of oil that she uses in the beginning so that the chicken can cook and stuff like that. And I guess if you use the right kind of oil, if you use like olive oil or, you know, good stuff and maybe use a little bit less, I think that it could be healthy because really she's not using anything that, you know, it's just rice and, you know, some veg and stuff like that. Now, they say that you shouldn't eat too much rice. It's because it's carbohydrates and stuff like that. But you know what? Sometimes you need to indulge and live a little.
And then burn it after, but enjoy yourself.
Yeah, and go to the gym and burn it off
Absolutely.
after.
Did you know that Eid al-Fitr, which is like the celebration for the Muslims after
yeah, like she mentioned
fasting,
in the,
absolutely. This is the day where you need to have a lot of Muslim friends because you go from house to house. This is serious. Like you go from house to house, and then
you do with your hungry belly.
Believe me, I do, and it's so delicious. It's so good. Like it's after having that, you feel like regular rice is not rice anymore. You feel like
she was telling me that, you know, she ended up learning how to cook pilau because she would be around the mom and the aunties and them, and whenever there was a big celebration like a wedding or birthday or Eid, like you said, there would have to be pilau there, and that would be the one thing that everyone would be waiting for. So I'm so excited to have learned how to make this. I hope that you guys are too.
They pass it on from like grandma to mother to daughter.
Definitely. And now I'm passing it on to you guys. So make sure that you know, you try it and everyone at home tries it as well.
All right. Well, don't forget, we love to hear your thoughts, comments, and feedback. Like for example, for this recipe on what we're talking about here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. Tweet us at Rise and Shine RW. Like us on Facebook and send us your ideas for programs. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page where you can catch all the shows and the reports we do all the time. Find us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. We'd love to see your pictures. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website. Well, that's all the time we have for today. We'd love to hear your feedback, so do let us know if you have an idea for the program. You've been watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Makeda Mahadio. We'll be back here same time, same place tomorrow, so please do join us then. But for now, from the both of us and Arnold Quizera, have a great day. We miss you, Fifi.
Bye-bye.